Well, it's fair to say that the Jeddah Corniche circuit left its mark not only in Formula 1 last season, but in Formula 2. It makes its second consecutive year, and it's in a different place this year. It's round 2 of the Formula 2 season in 2022 as opposed to the penultimate round last season. And like we said, it left its mark. The F1 race was awesome. The F2 race especially was just as good, even with the F2 cars being distinctly slower than their Formula 1 cousins. This is still going to be a feast for raw speed, as it is dubbed the fastest street circuit in the world. 27 corners, although to be fair, I think that number is slightly exaggerated. Most of these corners are just kinks to the left and right. It's probably about, maybe I would say about somewhere between 18 and 22 in total, but the official number is 27, so we're going to deal with that one. So we're here for the second round of the Formula 2 season, and there is Callie Mayer, who turned heads much like her brother did here a couple of seasons ago in this sport. Callie finishing second in the Formula 2 feature race in Bahrain after a great strategy work by her NAMS team. Taking a look at the sprint race grid today for the first race of the weekend, it's going to be Amuyu Iwasa on reverse grid pole position because he ended up 10th. He's going to be alongside Callum Williams, Fittipaldi for sure, Drogovic, Armstrong, and so on and so forth. Amuyu Cordial scored pole once again in the Amersfoort racing car, so he will go from 10th alongside Callie Mayer, who scored second in the qualifying session. And here is the green light for the sprint race in very different conditions
so looks good
to
on
the Formula 1 racing, very much like in Bahrain. We're running in afternoon/evening conditions here, so it's going to be very much an unknown for everyone here. The Formula 1 drivers barely get this kind of running at all. I think practice 1 is probably the earliest they run for the entire weekend, which most of the rest of the weekend is run, of course, in the night time. Formula 2 has a bit of an earlier schedule, as it were, always before the Formula 1 session, and that'll be today's qualifying as well later tonight for that, and then of course the main race after the feature race on the Sunday, as it were. So Callie Mayer 9th, Amuyu Cordial 10th, meaning they're on the front row tomorrow. Amuyu Iwasa is highly rated within the Red Bull Junior family, with Liam Lawson and a couple others, namely Dennis Hauger and JR Deriva. There is a lot of Red Bull liveried cars this season. It's going to be hard to tell who's who, really. But one of them has scored the reverse grid pole in Iwasa, but of course that means he starts 10th in the feature race tomorrow. Of course, the new weekend format introduces the sprint race first and the feature race on the Sunday, which I certainly prefer as a schedule. And that also means Amuyu Cordial gets another 2 points to add to his total, as it's 2 points for pole position now as opposed to 4. And the fastest lap is now down to 1 as opposed to 2 extra points. And I believe, like in Formula 1, you still have to finish in the top 10. I believe if you're outside the top 10, then the previous fastest lap that does finish in the top 10 actually gets the point, but I'm not entirely sure of that. You're going to have to let me know on that one. I think that might be a new rule for the 2022 season in Formula 2. Of course, it doesn't really count in Formula 1 anyway. In Formula 2, I believe that could be the rule, but I'll have to wait and see on that one. And in any case, round turn 27. It's been a feature for track limits this weekend, actually, because it can be somewhat shortcutted. Even though it is a hairpin, it can be somewhat shortcutted, so track limits have been a kind of vocal point this weekend. We haven't really seen any times deleted, but it is one of the corners that the FIA are monitoring for the course of the weekend. And Callie Mayer really trying to get heat into her tyres as we line up on the grid, braking immensely hard and then spinning up the wheels, much like Fernando Alonso used to do back in his Renault days.
Parking there, nice one. That's going to give you the edge if you can get a good launch as the race starts.
And we are all set. 22 of the youngest drivers in the world, the best of the bunch. Here are the 5 red lights. There's the green flag in the back. It is lights out, and away we go for Formula 2 in the sprint race today. And there is jostling all over the place. Callum Williams has flown into the lead as it was a drops for sure, was almost down the inside there. We've all gone through the first corner safely. Logan Sargent decides to hang back and hope for some carnage. He didn't get it. And here we go then. Callum Williams is the man in the lead. And Richard for sure has made good on his start. Tail Pourchaire was, I believe, 14th. He's getting this 8th. Ahead of Callie Mayer. Tail Pourchaire, we didn't see it, but he's had a sensational start. Callie tries to look, but she cut the corner there. She'll probably get the lifetime deleted for that one. As you get multiple, I think you get up to 3 strikes and then a black and white flag, very much like in Formula 1. But Callum Williams in the Trident leads this race, and Trident have been the real surprise package of the season so far, and Callum and for sure have put it to good use. Iwasa has lost his advantage on pole position. Dragovic is up to 4th ahead of Armstrong. I believe he had a pretty good sensational start too. Fittipaldi 6th, Hauger 7th, Pourchaire is 8th ahead of Callie May, and Jack Dewar has actually got into 10th, but of course in the sprint race the points only go down to 8th position, so Pourchaire is the last of the point scorers at the moment then. I think there was a bit of a jostling at the back there for Logan Sargent. Looks like he was battling with Tangent Calderon there in 21st. Jake Hughes in the Amuyu Sport car is 20th. So, actually that is a point. No, Cordial was actually fallen out of the top 10. He's now 13th, so Cordial's not had a great start either. JR Deruval has fallen back as well. A lot of drivers falling back in the first lap of the race. Except for Tail Pourchaire, who decided to absolutely dive bomb it in turn 1, very much like Aiden Jackson did in Azerbaijan, if you remember, in 2021 in the Haas car. He dive bombed down the first 2 corners and ended up in 13th place. Pourchaire has taken something out of the Jackson playbook, and we're about to see it off the replay of the start. It's a great start. And there's a couple of drivers that get slow on the line there. Callie's a bit slow as well. Pourchaire flying and threading a needle in both directions, getting an absolutely sensational start with about 4 drivers kind of slowing it off the line, as it were. I think there was one of the Pravers. I think that was that Deruvala there? I think it was Deruvala, because I think Deruvala had fallen down a couple of places. So it was Deruvala and then someone behind him, which I believe was... I'm not sure who it was, to be fair, but there was Deruvala and someone else, and Callie was a bit stuck on the second phase, I believe. So that's how Pourchaire got into the final points play position ahead of Callie Mayer, out of the points at the moment. DRS enabled for this race then, after the second racing lap, and Amuyu Iwasa is now starting to actually get a feel into this race, because he caught right back up to Callum Williams. That's going to help him in terms of gaining DRS in this lap, as it has now been activated. Felipe Dragovic very much back on form, it seems like, after I think retiring for the initial sprint race in Bahrain. That's the first sprint race of the year, of course. And it's pretty much going to be all single file here. 2 cars are very equal spec. We've got a real notion for that in the first 2 races, but Tail Pourchaire decided to ignore convention and go all the way to 8th place, and Amuyu Iwasa down the outside of Callum Williams in the Trident. There's a lot of hype around Iwasa, and he's showing why. He's taken back the lead. Fantastic move by Iwasa around the outside. Fantastic move, and we are going to get some passing moves here, I guess. And that's very much well. It is more about the skill of the drivers, and this is the best 2 of the 22 young drivers in the world here. And Iwasa now has the lead back, but of course now he's going to be under threat from the 2 Trident cars who have DRS behind him. Well, we saw DRS being very ineffective when passing for the lead. Dennis Howell won this sprint race, being chased all the way home with cars having DRS, but they were unable to get past. The Trident team have definitely come out with a good car this year. Very good car from the Tridents, and they're now making really good use of it in the top 5 today. In the top 8 for the points, of course. So Iwasa leads at the end of lap 3, with Callum Williams and Richard for short. Dragovic is 4th, followed by Armstrong, Fittipaldi, Hauger and Pourchaire. That is your point scorers. Callie Mayer has got the fastest lap. She's in the top 10, so she'll get that point, I believe, for the fastest lap. And I think she got a bit loose out of turn 2 there. And another fastest lap for Callie Mayer. I think she's building a bit of a streak, actually, because I think she was fastest in the previous 2 races with the fastest lap, so she's getting a bit of a streak going when it comes to a fast car. She runs wide there with understeer. You could definitely tell on the steering. Oh, she's suffering a bit there as well. The understeer, that damage is not helping well there. Everyone on the medium tyres. This is a sprint race, so of course there's no mandatory pit stop in this race. Everyone's on the medium tyres, just getting to the end. And I wonder if Callie will have a second strike at track limits, because it seems like she's still staying with Pourchaire despite going off the track. So she might get a second strike for that, because she did run off the track in the first lap, I believe. So therefore we'll keep an eye on that. We haven't actually seen anything on track limit violations so far, so it doesn't look like Callie got a strike for earlier. I think you could probably forgive her for being the start of the race, of course. But she's swarming all over the back of Théo Pourchaire here. And she's probably surprised to see him, because he was down in like 14th place, I believe. And the top two are starting to break away a bit from behind. And there's a yellow flag for a slow... Oh, it's a slow Trident. It's Callum Williams here. And his engine's gone. And I wonder if he'll be asked about what happened there, because he seemed to really cut across his teammate quite sharply. I don't know whether he had an occurring problem there, but that was a really sharp cross across his teammate. I wonder if we can look at for that one. But anyway, on lap 5, and that leaves the way now clear for Amuyu Iwasa to score his first win in Formula 2, because for sure is out of DRS of Iwasa already. And oh my word, there's Calderon and Sargent off the road, and the safety car is deployed. So I think there was a collision then between Sargent and Calderon, I think. And obviously with Callum Williams on the pretty much at the start of the pit lane, the race director has felt the need to bring the safety car out. And here's the replay. Calderon's minding her own business, really. And I'm going to assume she gets... Oh, she spins on her own, and what becomes of Sargent then? Oh, she probably just... Oh, she comes across the front of the track and probably holds Sargent up. It's a bit of a roadblock. So really, that's harmless. It's just Calderon spinning, and I think poor Sargent had nowhere really left to go until Calderon came back onto the track on the racing line. And that's Ralph Boschung going slowly as well. They're dropping like flies here. Boschung is gone too. And the race director definitely has done the right thing in bringing out the safety car. We had Callum Williams stranded. We had Calderon and Sargent momentarily stranded. And now Boschung is stranded with a broken down vehicle. And that brings out the safety car. And that's going to wipe out the advantage Amuyu Iwasa was building at the front now. So, at the end of lap 6, we are under the safety car. It was the lead from Verschoor, Drogovic, Armstrong, Fittipaldi, Hauger. Pourchaire is now 7th, and Callie Mayer is back in the points. So she'll have to hold off Jack Doohan and such for the rest of the race. It's quite a short one here. So, will this race finish under the safety car? I think we'll get a couple more laps of racing before the end of this race. And of course, the safety car being a very contentious subject in Formula 1 since Abu Dhabi 2021, of course. Formula 2 follows the same procedures. But there is no need for the unlapping scenario. Everyone's on the lead lap. Bert Mailander is going to lead them round. I would say probably for a lap or two while everything gets cleared up. This is a very fast track, and we had a lot of incident here in Formula 1 in 2021. And I think even in the Formula 2 races, there was absolute chaos on this track. Well, what a shame for Trident. Callum Williams there. He was running in a very good P2. He actually had the lead for a moment. And I wonder if that's how Iwasa got back in front. Maybe there was a slow developing issue for Callum Williams in the Trident car. It's very unfortunate because they come with a very good car this year, it seems like. Which is really going to shake up the championship picture, because Dennis Hauger is only in 6th. I do believe he will lead the championship at the end of this race. because we have some very unusual suspects at the front due to the reverse grid. Namely, Iwasa and definitely Teo Porcher, although he made all his own work up there in P7. And Kalimea in the second, Dams in the 8th position, so it'll be a double point finish for Dams in only their second weekend with this new team. Well, not new team, but kind of new drivers, as it were. Cali was supposed to be in the Trident car before Dams swooped in to get her to replace the outgoing Roy Nassani. So it could have been Cali in these very impressive looking Trident cars. Because Trident have definitely, like we said, been a very good car this year so far. So many Red Bull livery cars. As we said, there's Iwasa, there's Hauger, there's Daruvula, and there's Lawson. Just to name 4 of them. And Yuri Vips used to be part of the Red Bull Driver Academy as well. He's not there anymore for various reasons. And I think we are going to get probably a couple more laps of racing here as we're still under the safety car. The rest of the drivers, Jack in 9th with Daruvula in 10th. Cordial's 11th now. After really starting like 10th. He only really lost 1 position, but he is. Liam Lawson is now 12th. Followed by Ollie Caldwell, Marino Sato, Yuri Vips, Clement Novalite, Frederick Vesti. Not really setting the world alight at the moment, which is a real surprise considering 8RT are a very decent team. They're very good race cars, generally. But it's Porsche making it work. Vesti's in 17th, followed by Jake Hughes. Logan Sargent and Tatiana Calderon getting into an incident in turn 1, which wasn't really an incident, it was Tatiana Calderon spinning. Boschog and Williams are out of this race. As the safety car pulls in, we are going to get a couple more laps of racing. There's probably going to be the DRS is probably going to be enabled on the last lap because it'll be lap 8 and it's 2 laps on the safety car, so it's touch and go whether DRS will be enabled. But here we go then. It was become the pace car, and now he will lead away, and he gets a great start as we go for green flag racing once again here in Saudi Arabia for this sprint race. And it has made Gunnar's advantage. I think Kalimea was having a look down the inside of Porsche there, but she thought better of it. Decided to stay in 8th and keep her eye on Jack Dewey. She has another look at Porsche. Cali is feeling racing these later stages of the race. But she's kind of all over the road. I think she's struggling with the handling of her car, really. And that's something her brother Jackson has reported in his Audi car. Very difficult to handle in these first instances of that brand new team in Formula 1 as well. And now Callie's taking to the outside to make an attempt on Teo Porcher. She pulls up almost alongside him. It's not going to entitle Porcher to give her racing room, but she's going to try the other way now. She's all over Porcher. She's swarming all over him already, probably trying to distract him. And Teo Porcher is holding well. Was there contact there? They were very close in there. I don't think there was any contact just about. But now we're on board with Callie. And she's trying to find her way through. She's going to have to do it without DRS, mind you. Look at the closest speed she has. There was contact there and all. She kept it out of the wall. Oh my word, there was contact there. And she somehow kept it out of the wall. Great reaction from Callie. As wow, she could have been an absolute passenger heading towards the wall, and we know Mick Schumacher has made some contacts with the wall in this weekend, and Callie was almost a passenger there, but she somehow kicked it out of the wall and in 8th place. She had such closing space on Porsche, and really much gave her the rear wing of Porsche kind of a tap. Really, I think it was relatively harmless. I don't think she'll have to go into the pits for some damage, but. Wow. The slide there, it looked like she was going to be veering towards the wall. She somehow kicked it out of there. And now Amuyu Iwasa, highly rated indeed, and looks like he's going to score this win now. So it is going to be a win for Dams, their first win of the year. To Dennis Hauger, won in the sprint in Bahrain, and Jehan Derivela won the feature, I believe. She's gone on from Callie Mayer in second, and as we said, after great pit work from Dams in that instance. Richard for sure, a fantastic effort and a great effort from the Trident team. It's very unlucky that Carl Williams had to drop out of the race. Felipe Dragovic is definitely a lot stronger this week in this one. He's going to end up third on the podium. Enzo Fittipaldi, honourable mention for him today, up in 5th place in the Charouz car. Hauger 6th, Porsche 7th, and May 8th. Not much change as we approach the final lap of this race. Well, once again, we're not seeing much effect for DRS taking back the lead. But of course, it counts for a lot less with no ERS system in these Formula 2 cars. There's been no DRS anyway. I think DRS will be re-enabled, but I don't think it's really going to matter too much. Well, this man, Teo Pourchaire, had an absolutely fantastic start. And he's going to get 2 very well-earned points in this race. Callie Mayer is going to score the fastest lap point again. Tatiana Calderon and Logan Sargent. Relatively lucky to be still seeing the rear wings of the cars ahead, because Calderon's spin pretty much blocked the track for a moment for Sargent. And because we had Callum Williams stranded at the start of the pit lane, that brought out the safety car. Look at these sweeping corners. This is certainly a quick street circuit, that's for sure. Well, the big winner today is Teo Pourchaire in 7th. After a fantastic start from way outside the top 10, to be fair. A couple of slow starters in the middle of the track, but Teo Pourchaire threaded a needle all over. But it's been Amuyu Iwasa who was not led from the start, but he certainly made good on his advantage. And he will score his first win in Formula 2 in the sprint race today, barring Richard Verschoor can use DRS, which he can. I think it has been enabled, but Amuyu Iwasa is going to take the win. His first win in Formula 2, the first for Dams this season. And they will get double points because Callie Mayer will come home in 8th after a pretty controlled drive, to be honest. But Teo Pourchaire, driver of the day after a fantastic start. But, well, like we said earlier, there's been a lot of hype around Amuyu Iwasa. Red Bull Junior for a reason. Certainly one of the most prestigious driver academies for the likes of Sebastian Vettel and Max Verstappen, just to name 2. And Amuyu Iwasa is now a Formula 2 race winner. Richard Verschoor comes 2nd, followed by Dragovic. Marcus Armstrong 4th, with Enzo Fittipaldi, who started 3rd, now down in 5th, but still a good effort. Hauger gets 6th. Pourchaire from 12th actually gets 7th. And Callie Mayer not only scores the 1 point for 8th, she gets the fastest lap bonus point as well, ahead of Jack Doohan and Jehan Derivela. Cordial only lost a place in the end, down 11th, followed by Lawson. Colwell is 13th, Vips 14th, Sato 15th. Novalak stays in 16th, Frederick Vesti in 17th. Jake Hughes, Logan Sargent and Tatiana Calderon complete the classified finishes, with Marchand and Williams out of the race. Jehan Derivela will lead the driver's standings ahead of Callie Mayer by 6 points, and she's riding in the thick of it despite only finishing with 1 or an extra point today. Cordial drops to 4th, Hauger's 5th, followed by Dragovic, Enzo Fittipaldi, Iwasa, Jack Doohan, and Marcus Armstrong, and everyone from Frederick Vesti down to Rolf Boschung still has yet to score this season. Having a look at the team standings, it's Prema leading the way by 15 points ahead of Trident in third. The kind of heroes of the season so far, Carlin, are the team on 0 points, and was a surprise considering their history. Amuyu Iwasa is the newest winner in Formula 2, very much deserved. A lot of hype around him, and he's probably proven why. He's today's race winner, and we'll see you of course tomorrow for the main race of the weekend, the feature race, when Formula 2 returns.